Hello, welcome to the Trews. Caitlyn Jenner has expressed herself and become the person that she's always wanted to be, and a lot of people are speculating as to what it might mean. Like this person who's a religious person. If you're a religious person, oughtn't your main motivating idea be love and acceptance of others and to bring about God's will on earth? Yes, it should, is the answer to that rhetorical question. Let's see what this bloke's doing.
There's a cover story on the cover of Vanity Fair.
The very least you expect from a cover story on Vanity Fair is that they put it on the cover. I mean, that's really the only expectation.
If you want one snapshot of just how corrupt, how morally corrupt, how morally bent.
Bent's an interesting use of words. And also the energy he's using and he's amping himself up for already seems inappropriate for a personal issue expressed through a celebrity medium.
How morally twisted, how morally confused.
I'm not confused. I know exactly what I'm saying. That's why I have to say morally 25 times in a row to think about what my opinion actually is.
How morally bankrupt we have become. All you've got to do is take a look at the cover of Vanity Fair magazine. There is a cover photo of a man who is dressed up as a woman.
Why is he so worried about that? When he goes on that tirade, you think there's a lot of things as a Christian you could be concerned about. Well, I mean, there's the exploitation of the environment, our irresponsibility, the total loss of interest in the church, the inability of the church to reach out and connect with people because they feel alienated and that it doesn't speak to them anymore because they're just obsessed with forms of sexual control, abortion, homosexuality laws. He could be talking about financial corruption. He could be talking about political apathy and corruption in the political establishment. No, if you want to understand moral breakdown, look at this human being expressing themselves. Now what? Just get angry.
My heart, frankly, goes out to Bruce Jenner. I'm not going to call him Caitlyn Jenner because that's not his name.
Oh, that was your one opportunity to do something kind. I'm not doing that. I think if Jesus were here today, what his focus would be victimising the weak and the vulnerable. I mean, throughout the Gospels, there's tales of Jesus meeting, say, beggars, the sick, the ill, the bereaved, and just really giving them a hard time.
And I'm not going to refer to him as a she. He's a he. He's a he in every single solitary cell of his body. He will be until the day that God calls him home.
I don't know if you know much about genetics there, Reverend. I can't work out what particular religious job he's doing. But all of us encompass both genders. All of us have feminine attributes, masculine attributes, and I often feel like, oh, I'm not like the... Well, when I was a kid, I was like, oh no, everyone at my school's really good at fighting and football, and I'm not, so I had to go off and go through all sorts of identity crises that's ultimately led to these trousers, you know, and like, sort of, we should be free to be who we are beyond those socially ascribed roles, shouldn't we? And Christianity and the church should be one of the places where we can turn to for guidance and spirituality and helping those issues.
He's a male. Every single cell of his body, so he's always going to be a he. Terminology that I'm going to use, I'm never going to refer to him as a she because that would be a lie.
How often are you planning to meet up with Caitlyn Jenner? At many of the functions I go to with the Kardashians. Like, why don't you... What will change if you just never speak about this again? Well, I wouldn't get to judge people. Well, just fuck off and judge people somewhere else. In most religions, there are deities that encompass both genders as a reminder of our oneness. And many people would argue that the problems that this Christian guy should be talking about, the financial corruption, political corruption, environmental meltdown, have come about because of the neglect of the feminine in our culture, because we have no goddess culture, we have no reverence for the earth, we have no reverence for feminine values such as nurture and compassion, and live in a male-dominated society where male materialistic values are fated. Not that there aren't positive things about being a man, loyalty, decency, duty, all those, very specifically or at least culturally presumed male traits. But many would say this imbalance and this prejudice and this bigotry is leading to an imbalanced society.
We pray that you would intervene and remove the veil that's enabled him to believe this lie about himself and to deny your truth.
If you're just participating in gossip from a peculiar perspective, you don't deserve for your religious institutions to be supported or attended or funded or celebrated because you too are celebrating the ugliest values of human life. Good luck to Caitlyn Jenner with your new way of life and the expression of yourself. Good luck to anybody being who you want to be in ways that don't harm anybody else and are no one else's business at all except yours. If you choose to be on the cover of Vanity Fair, go and be on the cover of Vanity Fair. It's got no more or less value than anyone else being on the cover of Vanity Fair. But if you are a spokesman for a religious or spiritual institution, then come from your spiritual core and address the spiritual core of others, which is we need to find new ways of loving one another and loving the planet, embracing both gender identities and allowing people to freely express themselves. That's some true news. Subscribe here.
Is a tool that is abused to fool you and to leave you scared and confused. Trews is like the news. If the news was true, I want some trews. Let's have some trews.